I'm Bradley Chapman, and this is Best Business Growth TV. This morning, we're going to be talking a little bit about growing past your fears of doubt. You see, in our business careers, regardless as to whether we're a startup company or whether we're somebody running a £1 trillion unicorn business, at all stages of growth and transition and development within a business, there will be times where we will face the fears of doubt of making a decision that could either impact our business positively or negatively. As entrepreneurs, we have to be brave, we have to be strong, we have to be courageous. Even in the darkest of times and the brightest of suns that shine on our faces, or the stormiest winds and seas upon our back, we are the captains of our ships. And a captain must always hold on to the wheel. But you see, the fears of doubt really are at their worst in your mind when you don't have a right team around you, when you don't have people around you that actually are thinking about what it is we need to make a decision and what could happen to that decision. So you need people around you that's going to have an inspired outlook on making that decision. But you also need people around you that's going to look at all the negatives, all the risk, all the challenges, all the things that could go wrong. And then you need a middle and centered person that has the ability to open their ears to be able to listen to the risk elements, to be able to listen to the positive elements, and between you as a team come to the right decision in order to execute it forward, achieving successful growth. You see, me, like many of you, will have had times where you've had a fear in your mind, you've had a moment of doubt in your mind where you've become stuck, where you become fractured in a moment in time where you're just not sure which way to go. You also know what it's like to make a decision, and that decision to become the most powerfully successful, happy feeling in the world, because we've moved our businesses forward, we've made money, we've recruited, we've grown, we've acquired more property and wealth asset, we've retained more profit within our business. But I think it's fair to say during this last year, directors, CEOs, and the teams that work within those companies, and more importantly, the board of directors, have had to think more strategically than ever before. So how do we get past those fears of doubt, of growth? You see, I think there's a balanced view between knowing when to stand still and hold on to your business with all your might, knowing when to retract and to save costs and to knuckle down, to hamper down, to get into the air raid shelter, to protect what you've grown. And I also think there's a time where you come out like an inspired, strategic business army that goes out to conquer, to acquire new customers, to break new oceans, to discover new worlds in terms of sales, marketing, projects, apps, systems, and operations that's going to get your business ahead of the competition so that customers choose you first. If you're starting out in business, you're probably risking everything. The change of career, the life, your family, you're risking everything. It's a brave man, a courageous man that becomes a business owner and perhaps an entrepreneur. But I remember something so important when I sat down and interviewed David Gold at his home in Surrey. Now, David Gold, as many of you will know, owns West Ham United, Ann Summers, Gold Air, and of course he was involved for many years in print media, the Sunday Sport, and in his earlier days in the Cheeky Naughty magazines in London. And I can remember sitting with David Gold, and behind me actually on the wall here, and I'm going to show it to you because it's really quite pertinent. Let me just grab this. When I met David Gold, there's pictures behind me on the wall, but when I met David Gold at his home in Surrey, I had the most incredible interview with a man at the time, and this is going back 10 or 12 years, had net assets at that time of around £600 million, And it was like I was sitting with my granddad, this wise old man, calm. His helicopter was sitting on the 18th green at the back of his house. And he would have taken me up in it. He said, Brady, I want to take it up my helicopter, but it's just been serviced. But next time you come, we'll go up. But we had this most incredible conversation. In fact, if you search David Gold and Bradley Chapman, you'll see what I wrote. But what I never disclosed was the personal things that he shared with me. In fact, it was such an important meeting and such an important opportunity to have a relaxed conversation. He said to me, Bradley, I've never been interviewed by a guy like you. He said, look, he said, before you go, I want to give you something. And with that, he went upstairs to this great big sweeping, beautiful balcony, marbled entrance hall, just incredible home in Surrey. And he came down and he gave me this. And he said, Bradley, he said, I want to give you my family crest. And that is David Gold's crest that he gave me. And he said, young man, he said, you're the sort of guy that would never give up. He said, I want you to hold this crest and never let it go. He doesn't have a son, David Gold, so it meant a lot to me. And on there, it says courage, perseverance, and determination. He said, hold it with you, Bradley. And no matter what you face, what business challenges, what success, remember, as entrepreneurs, we have something that many people don't understand. Courage, determination, and perseverance. And he said to me, Bradley, let me tell you something. He said, in order for you to grow, there's going to become times where your business is going to reach a certain level. And he said, it's happened to me many times, whether I've reached 100 million, 200 million, whatever that may be. He said, let me tell you something about the people around you. And this is important, and don't ever forget this. He says, always try to recruit the people that you cannot afford. And I'm sitting there thinking, I just can't afford the skill that I need right now. He said, and you're probably sitting there thinking you can't afford the skill that you need right now, aren't you? And I said, yeah. He said, whatever it takes to get the very best person on board, even if you have to give up a small percentage of your company or some kind of share incentive on performance based, because you might not be able to pay them the salary. He said, for example, there's a guy that come to work for me and his salary was something like £145,000 a year. I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't afford it. But what I did was I paid him half of that amount of money as a salary. And I gave him this incentive that meant if he achieved some targets, he would actually earn in excess of £250,000 plus in year one. And I explained to him the opportunity and the future. And actually, that man is on a far greater salary today. By him coming in and agreeing to start with me, it made my job easier, because he had the skill, the knowledge and the attitude, which meant I didn't have to spend the time training and coaching him, because he had about 70% of what I needed. All I needed to train him on was the 30% that he didn't have, which I know as an entrepreneur and a business owner. That man helped me to build my companies. So you see, Bradley, you need to make sure that you've got the right people around you. Now, I remember that conversation, and I've never, ever, ever not taken this with me wherever I go. It reminds me that actually, one, we can grow through any situation. And bless you, David Gold, I will drive down to knock on your house again to have another cup of coffee. I promise you. I've been thinking about it for the last couple of years, and I want to come and see you again. But take this with you today. And as I sit here, I'm on the precipice of some great change. And I'm being taught by a great man. I'm being mentored by Alfie. And I know that I have to improve every single day in order to make his job easier, for him training me, for me to be able to execute what he can see in me and in the business. I have to do all I can as a number two to a great man in my small company, in our small company, within his big operation. The more I'm prepared to learn, the more I'm prepared to get stuck in, the more I'm prepared to go above and beyond what is ordinary to deliver extraordinary to this man I'm also delivering it to myself. And in that instance, it makes me stronger, more powerful, more humble. It makes me the billionaire's apprentice. So when we fear doubt, just remember, you aren't alone. And there is another man, another woman, another person that's highly skilled that can help you through the decision. Which is why we are very pleased to announce in the next couple of days that Alfie Best and myself will be announcing that Alfie is going to be making himself available as a non-executive director to just 2 companies this year, becoming the chairman of their board, and I will be sitting beside him in his number 2 as he helps to take companies, business owners and entrepreneurs to the next level. You see, I've always said standing on Alfie's shoulders enables me to see further than I could ever imagined. Calvin Harris, giants. So don't ever make the mistake of recruiting people who cannot do the job. Don't ever make the mistake of talking to people who cannot give you the answer that you need to hear, and sometimes the ones that you don't want to hear. Remember, in business, seek the best. Seek the best. I'm here for you to contact me to say, Bradley, I'd love Alfie to take a look at my business. That is what Alfie Best Business Consultancy is all about. Now, if I can listen to Alfie, you can listen to me, we can listen to each other, and we will enjoy success together. Because, ladies and gents, birds of a feather flock together. And today, ladies and gentlemen, is your time to fly. I'm Bradley Chapman. This is the Business Breakfast Show.